Okay. I hope I'm not blowing your ears off. Uh, I have had some medical issues to deal with. Um, I am, you could say, perpetual recovery. So I haven't raced in a couple of weeks. And I'm still gonna do the career mode, but I got to work up to it because I'm at full races in the truck, which is not a huge deal, but I want to keep it. I want to work up to it. Did what 70 laps yesterday, so here we got 67 laps at Kansas. Oh no, it was 125 at Bristol. Yeah, they go fast though, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to just, get through it because I know in the long run it should be better, overall if it doesn't kill me. But yes, I'm used to. If you're new, I'm used to, full length cup races. 500 laps at Bristol, 200 at Daytona, etc., etc. Oh, 400 at Charlotte. Yeah, I love Charlotte. But so I'm gonna stick to ARCA for a while. Well, my ARCA series, and Kansas is up next. Yesterday I put a note in there, but nobody reads. But I lost overall. I've lost access to most of my best setups. I have been able to compile a collection of my setups, maybe from 2, 3, 4 versions before the best. So they're we're a work in progress, and I'm just working with those. Yesterday I because of a computer issue, I didn't have access to any of that. I fixed it, well, at least for now, and I just pulled a fast setup off YouTube, which I found out is more of a qualifying setup, or it probably was just set up for a controller or something. I don't know. I don't think so. But it was just all on the right rear. Let me get no setup. Yeah, I don't have the setups in here. I'm on computer now. I had them all on my PS4. My PS4 tanked. Took the disk drive with it. I probably could get on in the cloud, but I'm not going the PS5 route. So I'm on PS4, and I like a challenge anyway. So recreating what I did, in some cases already, has helped me improve on some of the setups, and some of the setups still need work. Well, I have a few to choose from here. This is from 3 years ago. This is a truck setup that I have. It's a recent one. That's what I've used in career. It's Xfinity. I think this is an old one. Oh, not so old. It's not bad. Xfinity. I don't know how to. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I gotta look at these 2 cup setups. Okay, one's in my 91 car, which I did work on before my PS4 died last year. So it could be the most recent. Let me see what the other one is. 218, 216. Yeah, I think this is. It's actually the latest one I should have. So that could be a lucky thing. But a lot of the lot of the tweaks to the setups were done over years, which are in the league I ran. We ran a full year, just like the regular NASCAR schedule. So a year is also a season in my past world. So a lot of, and you know, I must have ran, especially before I started really getting affected by my disease, I must have ran 2-3 practice races for each race that we raced for 3 years straight. So there's a lot of development that went into these things. So even my older setups, they're still good, but I like the car to drive a certain way, and if it doesn't drive that way, then it really hinders how I perform in the race. Because I don't want to fight the car, you know. I want to fight the track or the competitors. You know, I want to race. I don't want to run around. Yeah, I think this is the new setup. Could be the first version of it, but it's definitely further along. See, one of the things I did on the PS4 is I took pictures of my latest setups, and if the game, because I had problems with the game on PS4, it would, like, if I started a career on Heat 5, it would not remember the career. It just, every time I got off the game, it just would not remember it. It was broken, and it was broken like that since the last update we had for the Pro League stuff. Way back. And nothing worked. The new updates, nothing. It was just broken the whole time. So that's kind of like why I started with the Pro League stuff. And this, you know, if this sound stuff I'm doing, which I used to do very easily, if I don't like the way it sounds, then we won't go this route, until I investigate and figure out some better solution. Now let's see what we got. I also will say that the controls calibrate a little bit differently on the PC. I was a PC guy for, since there were PCs, and Sims were my thing. Racing, flying, combat. And I used to be able to trick out the calibration, but just like they changed it. And I'm like 95%. The biggest problem is brakes. I just tap my brakes and it's like they lock up, which I remember having an issue with on the PS4. And I solved that by lowering the brake sensitivity. You know, I just deadened it all up, and it worked fine. Well, I did that here, and it's like it doesn't even work. Yep, this is the latest setup. But so after I got the drivability, I started not too worried about like not hitting the goal if I don't hit the goal. You know, I'm paying, you know, championship season kind of thing. It's not like career mode. They give you a lot of money anyway. But see, qualifying is what you're looking at basically. You're looking at what the guys will qualify at. What you'll probably qualify at. Down a good lap. During the race, they start out that fast, but within a few laps, they typically, you know, run about a half a second slower a lap. I guess that's represents tire pull or whatever. And no matter how high I set the difficulty, which now it's pretty much on its highest setting. It should be its highest setting. There's no definitive answer to that because, you know, developers, you know, they just not very forthcoming and a lot of stuff. I think they get a lot of shit, get a lot of shitty work when anybody would realize it. Did they come out with a great game? No. They came out with a good game. Solid game. If you understand its limitations, you have a fucking blast, and you learn how to do setups, all kinds of shit. I've done a lot of all my racing sims are with setups. You're the Indianapolis 500, 1989. Have, you know, more realistic setups? Yeah, not a whole lot. What I like about the setup, the way they do setups in this game, is that I hate calling it a game. You get too much arguments when you call it a simulation, but it is a fucking simulation. Trust me. I played real arcade games. It's not an arcade game. You can argue it's an arcade game if you use fixed setups, which are designed to be slow, a lot of action. But when you get into the setup, you know, part of it, customs, yeah, it's something else. It's pretty cool. The only setup version that I've found better, no, it's not iRacing, is the last set of games. NASCAR 13, 14, 15, yeah, 12. They had Inside Line and NASCAR the game, which is 12 and 11. Now those setups, you actually could do more. They gave you a weight scale, basically just like setting up a real car. Very cool. I especially miss the corner heights. You can adjust the height of each corner. See how it affected everything else. And so on and so forth. This is about right. Feels good. Taking a little. You look at the right rear, so I keep the temp stuff. I'm always testing, even in a race. You see the right rear temp is a little higher than the right front. That's what you want. You don't want it too much. It's only 1% loose. So that means that you probably won't get crazy loose at the end of the 50-something lap run, 60 lap run. Things I don't like about this game is like this is one of those tracks that you should be able to run fast laps around the bottom, but they actually changed it. They changed the tracks in one of the updates before that last update, and they made it so the top lane gets a boost off the corner. Yeah, I'm not really into that. I mean, yeah, you can get a boost, but they realized that it was a very difficult thing to accomplish without custom setups and so on and so forth. They just
what that means
it's pretty damn good. I'm gonna take a picture. That'll go in the files. We're gonna qualify. I'm not gonna get on the pole. I'll be in the top 10 if I don't screw up. But
what that means
let's see what we got. You know what? Every once in a while, there's still a glitch in this game that I don't like dealing with, but I gotta deal with it. And that's the inputs. I use the look back sometimes, both for videos and sometimes it's easier instead of looking in the mirror to look straight back. And the game keeps changing that fucking button. It's just the D-pad down button. And for some reason it likes to change it. And I forgot to change it back. That'll work. Okay, so we got 67 laps. No stops. Yes, 60. Yeah, we can make it on no stops if we save a little. I don't think that's going to be a problem. We should have one caution. shallower, you don't have all the banking. You gotta take the corner differently or else slide up or spin out. I got the top side. Managed to make it a little tight. Rule of thumb, 1% quarter to a half a pound. And, I don't know, I might not even do anything in this race. The other thing is, I already have some tire pressure put in the right rear because these things tend to get tight on the long run if you're running full out like I am here. See, I can't look back. There's the gap. Now, typically how I run in Kansas is I'm good the first half run, like 20 laps or so. And then they start to catch me, and they usually pass me. So I was specifically designing this setup to avoid that. But I never tested it against the AI. But a version of this setup in the next gen car, auto race here. Line you run also, you know, is very important. See, when I was running a little bit lower, it gets a little bit looser. You straddle the seam there. Actually, being a little on the tight side makes it a little safer to do that. Now, you notice I probably changed my on and off points. Aggressive, because it is a long race. I'm probably going to have to hit anyway. I'm 7 laps short starting. We are 56, 48 laps. Yeah, so we're using a little bit of gas. We'll run it up front. We got no draft help. And we're deep in the gas here. See, part of the problem when you don't have a team, you got to do everything yourself. And sometimes, you know, I get caught looking at the temps and stuff, thinking about, you know, whether I need to make a change, good enough, etc., etc. Now, if you notice in the setup, I didn't put a lot of tape on. I didn't put a lot of tape on because the more tape you have, yeah, the faster you go, but it also changes the aero balance. It actually puts more downforce on the front of the car, which lightens up the rear end and makes it looser, especially when you turn the wheel a lot. Like, you get into a turn, like earlier when I was running with the other two guys, and I just turned down like this and went middle. Yeah, that could spin you out if you got too much tape on the aero balance. I mean, it all depends on what your overall balance is. See, if you look at the tire temps, I got the car left side, you got the left front planted, which you need planted. And you're lighter on the left rear. Now, if I can get the left rear more engaged, which I've only managed to do in 2 setups, then you get a little bit more grip and you get a little bit more turn. So you don't have to put it on the right rear, it'll be on the left rear. So, theoretically go even faster. Second lead, like in real life, this would be amazing, but I'm still worried about the fall off. And of course, then we get into traffic, 2 seconds, one car just causing you to slow down at the wrong moment. You lose that 2-second advantage, and then the second place car is up your tailpipe. We've lost some grip through the turns, 2, 3, 4 miles an hour slower. Faster than the guys behind me, but like I said, that's fixing to change. So coming up on 20 laps. Watch that. So if I don't turn it back to the right, it wants to spin out. If I had a lot of tape on it, I would definitely have spun out. I've done some situation like that. And passing that guy, I lost a couple miles an hour. Okay. Gained a 10 off. So, oh, you know, but you gained it back. Yeah, but we're talking overall. I was gaining a 10th or 2 a lap. The good news is they have to pass these guys, and typically it takes them longer sometimes. Sometimes infuriatingly so. Guys just move over there. They don't always move over for you. Even though I'm fast, nothing is a done deal. You know, things can not go my way. Like yesterday at Bristol, that other setup, I could not remember completely how to detune it from being spinning the wheels down low on heavy throttle. I wasn't full throttle, but I was, you know, it was more than halfway, but sure. And I have a setup that it doesn't do that. Well, it doesn't do that after like 2-3 laps. So the tires hit up the temps, right? But that was like lap 25. And you know, I'm used to my setup, and I just didn't think it would do that, and I screwed up. And then there was no caution. Caution would have helped me, and then I had to run back up to the front, which I was amazed I was able to do all that damage. Kind of damage that poor cripple had in the movie at Bristol. I was thinking at the time. I was like, at the camper. But it worked out. I got an extra workout. Right back up. Bring it home. The entire field. Now, you know, I'm very aggressive at this thing. Now, when you are in a simulated car, miles an hour, that hurts. They have a lot of whiplash from that. People end up getting hurt, taking pain the rest of your life. And these race car drivers, majority of them, not all of them now, are in shape not to be able to be the guy that says I can bench press this much more than everybody else. But Mark Martin started the trend. If you strengthen your body, especially now they have it down to the science, do specific things like for your neck and such. When you do hit the wall or hit get into a wreck, you can minimize the effects, the damage, because your muscles are taking the brunt of it, and they are strong enough to alleviate bad hits to a point. You hit it 90 Gs, and you're lucky to survive it. But, there'll be broken bones. Look, it took Danica Patrick to throw the field when you hit the wall, especially in front of the car. Take your hands off the wheel because you break your wrist, your fingers, your arm. Get your hands caught in the wheel when it hits the wall. It turns the wheel from the impact violently. And yeah, it's counterintuitive. But if you watch Ryan Blaney, some of his in-car wrecks that they've shown, and Kyle Busch and others, you see they'll drive. The instinct is to drive your way out of it. You're forever hoping you're not going to kill yourself in the car. Mainly, you're not thinking too much about yourself driving it. You're thinking about the car. And then when you realize that that's not going to hit anyway, that's when you take your hands off the wheel. Impact was encouraging. Okay, well we're doing pretty good. I'd say we're doing better with this version of the setup. It's really good to drive. A little bit more on the right rear than maybe I want at this point. So we gotta be careful. Turn the wheels on. Certain spots. Off the turns, back on the gas. Yeah, not like that. That was wrong. Wrong there. With a gap like this, it's 28 laps. 31 laps in. 28. 20. Yeah. So this setup, running straight, will probably get us about 59 laps. Which is great. Because I've used more than half the gas, and I have 60% on the right side tires. Left side. So that means I can run it down, run the gas all the way down if I Unfortunately, I can't feel with my G923 setup any feedback from the brake or the gas pedal. So you have to hear those things. And I don't have a cockpit seat system that, it twists and turns and bangs and whatever. It's an old shitty seat pulled together with duct tape and wood and all kinds of shit. And, but it is a sports seat. It's actually, kind of like a sports car seat from the 70s. I had a 81 Firebird Formula, which was 79 to 80, 81. Yeah, and same seats in that, it's like what I'm sitting on. I mean, like exactly. So I had to put in some lumbar support because those things didn't have any lumbar support. My 91 Formula, my 91 was awesome. If it's anything I would have done, I would have gotten. I definitely would upgrade the seat. They fit right in there. It was a manual adjustment seat too, so couldn't adjust the lumbar, but I didn't need to. Which, you could adjust the tilt on it. Whereas the 81, it just flipped back so people could get in the back seat. It was rigid, Well, as rigid as an 81 seat. Because it shook and it moved around because of that hold forward feature. Amazingly enough, it handled really good for leaf spring suspension car. Live axle. That's a solid rear end, not independent suspension, but it handled really damn well. That's one thing I've always heard about the Pontiacs and experienced it firsthand. They always handle it really well. There's a reason for that. I have to say I lost some time. But nowhere near, having, in danger of getting past in about 25 laps. This setup is definitely better. What is that? I can tell you right now, being 179, 180 speed off turn 2 over there, definitely better than my older setups. So by 30 laps, we'd be down to about 170, 175 off on a good lap. It's important when you got a guy like in front of you entering the corner like that, so you have a good sense of where your good point is, and your turning points are. Because you can get into trouble really fast following something close in, realizing you missed your marks, and you turn the wheel, or don't turn the wheel enough, you hit the wall, or you're spinning out, or you're hitting the guy. Oh, and the tape, the oil temp. Yeah, lesser oil temp gives you better gas mileage in this game. Keeps the oil cooler, makes the engine run more efficient. I know it's still 200-something degrees, but it makes a difference, especially when you're on a long run. Now, I think I have 15% tape, so if I really wanted to make a go and go on the full race without a caution, 67 laps, and that saves 7 laps, I'd take all the tape. setup is, just trying to go under on the inside where I was going to go. So the rule of thumb in this game is, if you got your gearing right, save 4 laps, it'll gain you a lap of gas at most tracks. So, 4 laps, 16 laps. We've run 48 laps. So I had plenty of laps that I could save 7 laps in. But I'd have had to set the car up that way in the race. I don't set the car up that way unless I have a reason to. But I've done it. I've done it on, pit stops and so on and so forth. Because, sometimes you get a stage that's, stage might be 65 laps or something. You got 60 laps in the tank. I'd go for it. There are no stages in this series. I got a little bit loose there. Well, after 50 laps, getting a little bit loose, that's not a bad thing. That's normal. So I gotta be extra careful here to bring it home. Split out of the race, I think. And there's usually one caution in these things, but they usually don't come late like this. They come more in the middle, about 2/3. Past 2/3 a little bit. Looks like it might be green flag pit stops. Even some time in the car that is behind me. That's correct. It's because they're in traffic. If you look at the map, they're probably changing spots because you guys need to stop behind a lap car and the other guy's passing it. See, for me, with the speed I have, it doesn't pay for me to pit early. Caution comes out. It's better up front. So we'll run this out. Good test of it. We're 53 laps and we're down 40%. That is excellent. For a long run, if I felt I needed to push at the end, I would take half a pound out of the right rear. Or I could add a half pound to the right front. Either way, half pound, quarter pound adjustment. Just a fine-tune adjustment. Now, one of the weird things that I guess you'd have to get used to is, especially with the tires, even if the setup is really rock solid like this one happens to be. When the tires wear, as you go through the run, even when you get to about halfway, it's less about driving the car and more about pointing the car. Learning with the setup that you have, the steering settings, how to point the car. And I grew up upstate on a lake for years, loved boats, so on and so forth. And it's more like driving a boat as the tires were. You kind of like, okay, I want to go there, so I have to turn it this much at the beginning of a run. I just think about it, and then get like to where I am now, at 2% loose. 635, almost 2% loose. I gotta drive it differently. I kind of like gotta coax it. See? 177 off the turn. This is faster at the end of the run. I should get here. I don't trust this gas gauge. So I run a bunch of laps with it. 45. Yeah, I know, it's slow. That'll be fine. Don't need to hold back. 15 will be good. Not going to change anything. So by the time I get down to the tire wear that matters, some people say in terms of repair, no, it's faster. But I found if you're at pit road speed, like in this case 45, when you cross that line, you get the fastest pit stop. 46 will be a little slower. 44 will be a little slower. If you're 5 miles an hour slower, it'll be slower yet. You gotta be crossing that pit line. Of course. Lap down yet. did I miss there? Figure out what happened. I hit it. So I led all that, so it doesn't show you that. So I did the long. So I was king until I pitted. Yeah, it doesn't. I can see where he pitted. I saw when he was coming out of the pit as leader, and I'm like, okay, he must, you know. Did pit. I just screwed up. I didn't get on pit road very fast, but I didn't think I was that slow. It's okay, it'll come back. That's what all this is designed for. Is to help me get back up to speed, get back to the cutting edge. Shake the rust off. Good lesson. Well, it's good to be served humble pie once in a while. I hit a 30.4. That was good. I'm really happy that this setup is like 99%. I can continue. Well, I can make it a little bit more stable, but I want to make it faster. It's really fast in some ways, and it maintains speed over really 50 laps until I really noticed anything. I think it was lap 49 actually. So next up will be Texas, which is another track that I love, but not today. So, yep. Starting over again. See, everything is, my gazillion numbers are all gone. But that's okay. Anyway, so thank you for watching. And if the sound comes out okay, you will hear me again soon. Thank you. Have a good night.